So I put to you that these chili bites will be the best you'll ever have. What do you think about that? Okay, chili bites. There is a way to make it amazing. I think you will agree that most of them look like Gandhi's first pair of flip-flops. I like my cured meats to be a little bit more juicy-loosey. Here's how.
Hello ingredients. The star of the show. Thai red curry paste, homemade by the handsome fat man in the stripy apron. Don't forget to watch that video. Fresh curry paste is optional but extremely necessary. Beef. This is eye of round, like we use for our brazola recipe. But rump, like we use for our biltong, can also be used. For the pork version, we use neck. You can also use belly. Unfortunately, not mine, neither your own. Palm sugar, if you can find it, highly recommended. Coconut sugar also works great. Fresh garlic, don't worry, we don't use the whole thing, although some people's breath smells better with than without it. Soy sauce, this is homebrewed, unpasteurized. Let me know if you want me to make a video on it. Next up, homemade fish sauce. Again, want to know how it's done? Then speak up. Store-bought versions are okay. Salt, because we're curing stuff and also because it makes stuff taste good. We start by trimming the silver skin off the meat all the way around the outside, until you have a clean, uniformish piece of meat. Freeze the trimmings for making tasty beef broth later, or never, but still stick it into the freezer just to fill the space. Usually, pork neck don't need much trimming. Just make sure to remove any visible sinew, skin or excessive fat. Disinfect your tools like a good boy, girl or person. Let's start with the beef. Cut across the grain into 1 cm or 0.4 inch discs. To cut the chili bites, you cut those discs into the same size strips, 1 cm or 0.4 inches thick. You can go a touch thicker or thinner without losing sleep. Once your precious little strips are cut, put them to the side. To make jerky style beef, you cut the same size across the grain discs. Then gently but carefully beat them thinner with a meat hammer. Doing this with a rough side will give the marinade more surface to stick to, which equals more flavor. Flatten it to about half a centimeter or 0.2 inches. Then cut it into strips or leave it whole. Your choice, your life, but seeing that most of us find it simpler being told what to do, cutting it is what most of you will do. Just remember to get the thickness as even as possible. This is so that it dries evenly. You can see and feel the rigid texture once the meat has been hammered. It makes a huge difference, so try your best to get the same texture that I've got here. If you only have a little saucepan or cricket bat to beat it with, then at least dock it with a fork to get a bit of texture on it. Put it into a bowl and watch how to cut the pork before we marinate it up. Surprise, surprise, pork gets handled the same way. Cutty cutty, beaty beaty, strippy strippy. Both flattened jerky version and the chili bite version. Put it in its own little bowls while we make the good stuff. Let's start with the sugar. Palm sugar, coconut sugar, brown sugar or white sugar. Of course, palm sugar is correct, but go with what you have. I prefer palm sugar and this is how to prepare it. Unless you live in Asia, you'll be buying it in these solid pucks. I prefer making it into a runny fudge for ease of use. Plus, it's killer on toasted bread with butter. Mentally and, although slowly, also physically. But who cares when it's good, right? You want to slice it thinly with a sharp knife. Don't chop or hack at it. You fuck up your knife quick that way. Just slice and all will be nice. You can use it straight up like this, but I personally make a paste from it. Again, no right or wrong here. To make the paste, you chuck it into a pan and add just enough water to cover. Bring to a boil until all the sugar is dissolved and you have a thick syrup. Cool it down in a suitable container. Once room temp, you blend it with a shitty hand blender until it goes pale and fudgy. To start the marinade, you need Thai red curry paste, preferably freshly pounded. Watch my video how to make it like a daddy big dong. We will also make this lamb shank curry with it, so subscribe. Anyway, in goes our lovingly pounded curry paste. Next up, fish sauce I made by fermenting salmon guts and trimmings about 4 years ago. You just use Thai or Vietnamese fish sauce if you don't ferment your own. Homebrewed soy sauce goes in next. Again, kikkoman will do just fine. So, wipe away the tears. By the way, if you ladies want to learn about all that stuff, let me know in the comments. Into that pond goes the sugar or palm sugar paste, followed by freshly grated garlic. Salt goes in next. Give it all a good stir until well combined. By the way, if you just want to use this as a marinade for grilled meats or fish, the bee's knees cousins and uncles and all the rest of the fam and their offspring, what's left to do is wet up your meat. Get it into all the nooks, crannies, crevices and folds. Do this no matter what you're making. Maybe you're making it all, jerky and strips, pork and beef. I'm having a great time with my fingers in this wet meat. Make sure to wear protection though. Glove up. This stuff got chili in it. Otherwise, you wash your little mitts after, okay? And don't touch your no-no, or anyone else's for that matter, okay? The meat will soak up most of the marinade, and so it should. If you went all out and possess the skill of following simple instructions, you should now have 4 bowls of meat, 2 types of meat, 2 cuts, and 1 marinade to unite them all. Drying options are simple. You either do it in a dehydrator on wire racks, or you hang it on stainless steel hooks or cable ties. That then goes into a curing chamber or well-ventilated cool place with low humidity. No fucking ovens, microwaves, heat guns, smokers, tumble dryers, carburetors, vibrators, or any of that other shit is needed. Before we dry it, we let it rest in the marinade for 2 hours, covered with a lid, plastic wrap or whatever. Hi Richie. Hi Sally. Once it's done marinating, it's time to lay it out or hang it up. If you do this in a dehydrator, lay the meat out flat, with some space between each piece, for good ventilation and even drying. Whether it's strips or jerky doesn't matter. Principles are principles, rules are rules. To hang it, hook maximum 2 pieces onto a stainless steel hook or cable tie. These then go onto thin wooden dowels, which then goes into your curing chamber. The f*** is a curing chamber? In a sec, okay? Pop the trays in the dehydrator if you're using one. Set your dehydrator to 35 degrees Celsius or 95 degrees Fahrenheit for 24 hours. If it needs longer, then let it dry longer. If you hang it, get it into your fridge or curing chamber. Make sure they have some breathing space. We place a small space fan into a fridge for continuous ventilation. Then hook up a small space heater to a thermostat controller and place that in the fridge. The temp is set to 18 degrees Celsius or 64 degrees Fahrenheit and the fridge plugged into the thermostat controller as a cooling unit. Link to all this in the description. If you're broke, just dry it in your fridge. Takes a bit longer, but that's the price you pay. Once your meat is cured to your liking, you check it out, sniff it and feel it up. Kinda like your Frenchie in the park. Of course, you should also be drooling by that stage. By the way, a few tips on doneness. Monitor the doneness regularly with clean hands. Always pull it when it's still a bit wet. You can always dry it a bit more, but once it's dry, it's hard to get it wet again. We've all been there. The jerky will dry a lot quicker than the chili bites, obviously because it's flatter than the strips. Store it airtight in the fridge or in a cool, dry place. Good luck finding one. Now go make this stuff.
Amazing flavor, far superior result, super amazing. So on that note, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see each other next time. Bye bye.